And for more on what's happening in Iraq, I'm joined by Kurt Volker. He's Executive Director of the McCain Institute for International Leadership and former U.S. Ambassador to NATO. Welcome back to the show, Kurt.
Thanks. Great to be here.
How significant would this be if Iraqi forces are able to take back Ramadi? What would that mean?
Right. Well, I think it's a fair assumption that they will succeed. I think they've got a preponderance of force and they've surrounded the city. And I think it's mostly a psychological victory. That the question really is ISIS making gains? Have they taken Ramadi and they're moving towards Baghdad, which is where we were in the spring? Or is it the other way around, where the Iraqi government forces are taking back Ramadi and pushing ISIS back? It gives you a sense of momentum and a psychological advantage for the Iraqi forces. Militarily, I don't think it's a huge deal either way. We still have a huge problem with ISIS, and this is by no means a death blow to them.
Well, that being said, the Iraqi army has been criticized, even when this first happened, for not being able to properly defend their country. What has changed, though? I mean, is there some improvement in what they're doing?
Well, you remember the city fell 6 months ago. It's taken them 6 months to regroup. They've gone and taken some of the surrounding countryside, and then with significant more U.S. support, special forces, people alongside them as trainers and as advisors, and with air power, that's enabled them to do more to actually come back and take the city. I'm not sure that without that kind of additional support, they would have been able to.
Why is this Iraqi city so important?
Again, it's the psychology of it. It's close to Baghdad. It's about 55 miles away. It is a significant city for the Sunni population. Is it held by ISIS and therefore, part of that ISIS territory in Iraq? Or is it something that the Iraqi government has gotten back and can show that Iraq is not just a Shia society, but also includes Sunnis that live there, including in a place like Ramadi?
This is not the only city, though, that ISIL has taken and then is,
Exactly.
I guess, given up. So has their strategy not been great? Has it not been working? Or what's happening
No,
with them
ISIS
there?
is very shrewd. They're very opportunistic. They take what they can. If they find that they're going to be facing an overwhelming force, such as they were seeing now in Ramadi, then they're willing to fall back. They'll fight it off a bit to make it difficult, but then they'll fall back and they'll attack somewhere else. What's important to ISIS is that they have both the ideology of an Islamic caliphate and territory. It doesn't matter particularly which territory. It's the idea that they are building that caliphate successfully, and that's attracting fighters, it's attracting money, it's attracting international attention, it's attracting copycat groups in Libya or Afghanistan, as we just saw.
Kurt, you mentioned the larger picture. What do you see when you look across the international community? And everyone having their various thoughts on how to fight ISIL. Yeah. Where does it stand right now? And if Iraq is successful in reclaiming Ramadi, does that maybe send a message maybe to other Arab states about becoming more involved in this fight?
I don't think that's going to be the thing that's the trigger that gets everyone on the same page or that draws more of the Arab countries in a particular way. You have some Arab states already helping Sunni resistance to the Assad regime in Syria. That would be Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Jordan, Turkey to some degree. You have Russia in supporting the Shia Assad regime in Syria, together with Iran and Hezbollah. And they've made that in some ways a sectarian war. Iraq has largely separated along these sectarian lines. Shia dominated Baghdad, Sunni area in the middle dominated in many ways by ISIS, and a Kurdish area in the north that is, for all practical purposes, functioning as an independent country. I think that the Europeans have different interests in this. They just want them to stay out and keep the refugees away. And probably the best bet for that is Assad leaving power. But if Russia's in there supporting Assad, they're prepared to flip and support Russia as well. And I think the U.S. view on this has always been that as long as Assad is there, the civil war continues, and that's going to be bad for everybody. So we'd like to see some negotiation among the different groups there that produces a different kind of government.
All right, always complicated. Kurt Volker, as
it's
always,
awful.
We appreciate your perspective. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.